All right. Well, this is Wilma Bing, and my name is Pastor John. Last night, and this is a true story, last night I got woken up by my dog barking. Now, how many dogs do I have? Do you remember? Do I have one? 3. That's right. And she never barks, so I was thinking, something's up. So I stayed in bed longer. But she kept barking, and she was telling me there was something outside. So I stayed in bed longer. And then finally she barked and woke me up, and I got up, and I just put my glasses on so I could see, and I walk out, and I grab my flashlight, and I'm looking around because I'm thinking, well, maybe someone's breaking into a car. And she's barking and looking in the yard, and I see a little animal that waddles like this. Duck? Nope. Animal that waddles like this. It's thick, and it's... Jacob, what do you think?
A porcupine?
A porcupine. Do you remember a few weeks ago when I showed pictures of my dogs and they had the porcupine needles in their mouths and in their nose? Do you remember that? Well, the porcupine came back. So thank goodness I had just a little fence around the dogs and it protected them. And I was looking at the porcupine, and it does not move very fast. So we have a porcupine in our neighborhood. All right. Mine's a little pokey. Let's see if your story's a little softer.
Well, mine's not about animals. So I know that some of you have car seats, but back in the day, when your parents or your grandparents were around, we didn't have to do car seats. And when we got into the car, there was always the best seat in the car. Like if you ride in the back seat, do you like to ride? Who likes to ride in the middle of the back seat? No one likes to ride in the middle. But when you're the youngest of 4 children and everyone runs out to the car fast, I always got the middle seat. I didn't like the middle seat because when you go on long trips and you get tired and you want to lay your head down, there's no place to lay your head down and your head just flops back and forth. But because I was the youngest, I always got the middle seat. Well, one time, my father had a job where he would go to different cities and he would stay in this little trailer and he would tell people about Jesus. For about 6, 7, 8 weeks sometimes he would be gone telling people about Jesus. And then my mom and I and all my brothers and sisters, we were about 6 hours away. And we had to stay there because we had to go to school, so we couldn't be with my dad during that time. Well, sometimes on a Friday afternoon, my mom would get off work, we would get out of school, and she'd go, "Let's go see Dad." And we would run out to the car, and everyone would go, I get the window seat, and I get the middle seat. Well, this one time, my oldest sister, she's 10 years older than me, she said, "Wilma, I'm going to be really, really nice this time. I'll sit in the middle, and you can have the side by the window." And I was so excited because I loved sitting by the window, and I never got to do it. So we were driving, and it got dark, and it was a long, long trip. And all of us had had a big day, so we got tired. Everyone in the car went to sleep. And my mom driving, she was like, "I feel like sleeping too." Is that a good idea? No. So my mom was like, "I think I better pull off along the side of the road and take a short little nap." And my mom had this weird thing in her head. She had an alarm clock in her head. Not really, but almost. She could tell herself, "I'm going to sleep for 15 minutes. She would go to sleep, and you could almost tell time by her. She'd wake up 15 minutes later. She'd be ready to drive, and we would go. So we got along the side of the road, and we had been asleep. But my mom woke us all up, and she said, "Everyone, lock your doors," because we were in the middle of nowhere. It was dark, and we were just along the side of the road. She goes, "Everyone, lock your doors." And so we all locked our doors, and we started to go back to sleep again. And I was leaning against the door with my pillow, and I was sleeping so peacefully. Everyone was quiet. And all of a sudden there was a honk, honk. This big, giant truck had his lights coming straight for us, a semi-truck, big, big truck, and his lights were flashing. And he was honking his horn, and all of us just startled, and we were so scared. And within just one quick movement, my mom turned the car on, and she hit the gas, and she peeled out of there. And as she peeled out of there, my door flew open. And I still remember to this day what it looks like to have your head flying out the door as you're leaning out, and the gravel along the side of the road. I still remember that look like, because I'm thinking, I'm headed straight for the gravel. But luckily, my big sister was sitting right next to me, and she grabbed me with one hand, and with the other hand, she grabbed the door, and she pulled it shut, and my pillow went out the door. And you know what? We weren't sleepy for the rest of the trip. Because we're like, what happened? Why would that happen? My door had been locked. We got there to my dad, and we told him all about it, what had happened, that I had almost fallen out of the car. And he went out to the car. He had his flashlight, and he looked, and there was big scratches all along the door. Like someone had tried to get in, but we're like, we were in the middle of nowhere. It was so weird. The whole weekend we didn't know, but as we sat there in that night in the trailer, my dad prayed that we were all safe, thanking God that we were all safe. We drove home that weekend and went back to school, and my dad got a newspaper the next day, and he called us, and he said, you know what, in the newspaper, it says that there had been an escaped prisoner, and that no one should stop along the road that we stopped on. You know, I don't know, but I think that angels can drive semi-trucks. What do you think? I think they can. And then I'm pretty sure that Jesus sent an angel to drive a semi-truck to wake us up, to protect all of us. You know, we've gone through some rough times the last little bit. We can always be sure that Jesus is going to take care of us. And he'll send his angels to be beside us wherever we go. All right, you can go back and sit in your seats. Thank you.